You're listening to the home of all things Lindenwood sports. It's the Lions Den on KCLC HD through the Tower and on the Roar Network YouTube channel.
Well, welcome in, everybody, to the studios here at KCLC. You're listening to The Lions Den. I'm James Zugmeyer, joined by my co-host, Justin Powell.
Good evening.
And by the National Player of the Week for men's volleyball, Zach Solomon. Zach, thank you for joining us on the show, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for inviting me onto the show.
Yeah, of course.
So if you've never tuned in before, we do a lot of stuff on this show. Justin, can you run it down for him?
Yeah, for sure. So basically what we do, we start the show off every week with interviewing an athlete. This week just so happens to be nationally recognized athlete. And then after that, we break down all the D1 sports. And this week, we're actually breaking down softball and lacrosse at the end. A couple new sports. And then after that, we introduce the 3 stars of the week as well as your team of the week. Voted on you on Instagram, on @JetKim4 and @JZugmeyer. And that's pretty much the whole rundown of the show.
Yeah, so thank you all for tuning in. Also this week, you can see our faces if you're watching on YouTube. We have cameras set up.
Exactly.
I think the lighting's a little off. We can fix that next week, but I'm excited to have that element of the show and start posting some clips. But without further ado, let's hop into your backstory. And Justin, I think you're going to get us started here.
Yeah, I will go ahead and start. I apologize. So, just to kind of kick it off, how would you describe yourself as a volleyball player? How would you describe your play of style?
I'd like to say that I am creative and that I just like to go out there and have a good time. Like, I try to be a positive voice no matter what is really happening during the game. So keeping that and being a leader is also a big thing for me. I like to try and lead and rally the guys to all be having a good time, make sure everyone's playing well and can be playing at the best of their ability.
Well, before one can get nationally recognized, they have to pick up the sport in the first place. When did you first get into volleyball?
Man, I can't even tell you how young I was the first time I really got interested in volleyball. But when I first started playing on a team in the organized sport, it was maybe 10, 11 years old when I was in 5th grade. But my dad introduced me to it, and it's been kind of like a family sport ever since. Me and my brother would pepper the volleyball back and forth while my dad played in rec sand leagues with his friends. And then my sister started to get into it as she got a little bit older, and now we kind of play all together as a family. We do a outdoor tournament where all 5 of us play. Even my mom, who's never organized or played on a volleyball team before, like the rest of us have, she actually competes in it, and we all just have a good time, and it becomes like a kind of family bonding thing for us.
Man, I feel like the rec leagues absolutely hate seeing you guys pull up to those.
I have joined my friends in a few rec leagues where it's a little unfair for the average volleyball player, but I like to help my friends win some games, and they get to have fun. So
are you playing the intramurals then?
Not for volleyball.
Okay.
Our team actually has competed in softball the last 2 years, and we were undefeated until our star pitcher, Cy Young, Luke Koster, decided he had to hang out with his father instead of play with us this year. So.
Oh, wow.
Family obligations.
Yeah, exactly.
Family obligations.
Dude, those leagues get so sweaty sometimes. I played in one with the bowling team, and I don't remember the name of the team, but we had legitimate beef. There was yelling on the field.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it gets intense. That was the tale of the championship last spring, so a lot of trash talk.
Well, I know that the high school scene for men's volleyball has kind of come around recently. Before, not a lot of schools had it. I know my school didn't have it until recently, but you were playing, you had a lot of success. Conference Player of the Year 2020, weird year for everybody, but you were doing good on the court. And then also, 2019 All-State honorable mention. So what was the men's volleyball scene like in high school for you?
In Wisconsin, it's actually very competitive. We've got a lot of players out of Wisconsin that have gone Division I. I know that a lot play pro overseas, and it was a little weird that 2020 season. It got split up with 2 state tournaments, but really good players all throughout the state, and some that I'm still very good friends with, and one that actually still has a tie to Lindenwood, and I played club with throughout my 15s year through 18s year, and one of my best friends from Wisconsin. So great players come out of Wisconsin, and high school's always been competitive. My brother actually coaches high school and was recently in the state tournament with his team, and one of my friends was also the coach for that same team where they played I think they made it to the state finals.
Wow.
Nice.
But really good players come out of there. So.
And then that season, was that officially the COVID year, or was that before all that happened?
2020 was the fall after COVID kind of shut the whole country down.
Okay.
So we were playing with masks on, and it was not fun, but no crowds in the stand, or people in the stands, and just kind of competing, and you got to stay 6 feet apart at all times. So it was a weird year, but we still competed nonetheless.
Yeah, that was a weird year because I was bowling. I was a high school bowler. And, you just can't do that. You can't do 6 feet apart the way we had it set up.
Yeah.
But what they did instead was you got to wear masks until you're up on the approach, so we didn't have to deal with that. And then no fist bumps, no high fives. But I know it's different state to state on how they did it, so I kind of wanted to ask about that.
Well, yeah, in volleyball, you got to high five about 30 times between each point, too. So
You got to huddle up with the team every time.
Exactly.
I kind of have a question about that. So during COVID, I was graduating and I was working. I was doing other stuff, but how was it having to accommodate for a sport during that time? Because I know the average student, they just had schoolwork that got put online and stuff like that. Were you scared that your sport was just going to be put on hold indefinitely, or was it hard to have to fill those accommodations that they were asking?
Actually, it was pretty lenient, I believe, if I remember correctly. And in Wisconsin, it's a fall sport for men and women, and that's not the case around most of the country. So we were lucky enough where it didn't cut off the 2019 season. We got the full season. And then they made pretty good adjustments. It was, if you want to play, you can play and play in the fall, and that's why they split it up into fall and spring, or you can wait it out and we'll host another season in the spring.
Okay. So I know we kind of talked a little bit beforehand. We had a class last semester, and I know I learned a little bit about where you were beforehand, but before we get to where you were before Lindenwood, what was getting recruited into men's volleyball like? What was it like, having that whole experience going into collegiate volleyball?
Yeah. It's a lot of emailing coaches and reaching out. It's mainly through email, whereas if you look at a basketball, football, you make a Twitter account or something like that.
Yeah.
You post your highlights on there, but it's YouTube, email. I guess it's a little more retro than the bigger sports. And a lot of it is actually filtered through your coach. My club coaches were big voices for me, and I didn't do the best at reaching out to emailing because I hate rejection, but it ended up working out because my club coach helped me out in that situation, and my parents helped me out in that situation as well. So I just think it's, I'd say it's growing, as far as people are getting recruited earlier because the sport's becoming a bit more mainstream, and they capped the roster now. So you only get 18 if you opt in on that if you're Division I. So you got to get in there earlier, and you got to be reaching out to coaches earlier. So I think it's tightening up.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, 'cause we've had a lot of different sports come in, and you've had some of the more mainstream ones where it's I was in middle school and I was getting calls. I believe Darren Fugit. He's I was getting calls from some D2s and stuff, or Molly. She's playing club in high school and coaches are reaching out. So it's mainly just applying yourself, just sending out those emails, right?
Yeah, definitely got to apply yourself. I got screwed over a little bit because my main recruiting year was the club season that got terminated my junior year of high school. So what I thought I was growing and becoming a bit stronger, bigger, I probably had a 6-inch growth spurt from my sophomore year to junior year. So I thought, okay, this is my time. I'm going to get my name out there. And then I lose a full season of film that I can send out to coaches. And it really just had to be I'm kind of late to the game, and I didn't even really commit until February of my senior year. So
Well, you end up going to Purdue Fort Wayne. Was that because of lack of offers, or was that like a school that you really wanted to go to?
I had a few offers that competed well with Purdue Fort Wayne, McKendree being one of them, and they're a top team currently.
Yeah.
But Purdue Fort Wayne was really just because of my club coach, J.W. Kiekefer. He now coaches at Carthage, doing a really good job there, won multiple national championships for Division III, and played at Purdue Fort Wayne.
Okay.
So he got me that tie in there, and I liked Rock and Lindsay, and I thought that's going to be a good place for me. So I decided let's go for it.
And then you spent a few seasons there. Last season, didn't play. What ultimately led you to want to transfer out and come to a school like Lindenwood?
It was really because of the injury. I mean, a little bit of the team culture had shifted, but I decided based on I wasn't going to be getting any scholarship because I couldn't stay healthy, and I decided I'm going to throw my name out in the ocean of transfer schools and try my luck. And I landed upon Lindenwood because of my connection with my club teammate who played here, and he sent Joe my number. Joe liked how I played in my freshman year when I was healthy, and we really connected well over the phone, and I knew of Lindenwood, and they'd played really good that exact year, and I thought that's a place I can grow at, so why not?
Yeah. And, I mean, I know you talked about the injury. I know you kind of explained it last semester, but for the audience at home and everything, what sort of injury, like how severe was it? And not only how severe physically was it, how severe mentally was that to you, especially having to miss out on a whole collegiate season and then missing out on that connection with your teammates?
Yeah, I would say probably the worst part was the mental part of it. I mean, obviously people get injured and your body's going to regenerate or you're going to get surgery to fix it, right? But I had been injured the year prior in the same exact ankle and working my way back, thinking it was fine when it really wasn't. And we did everything we could to fix it without surgery until in preseason I land on someone's foot again, injuring the same ankle. And all that hard work I did over the summer and then weeks prior with my trainer to try and be healthy, and I felt like I was getting a lot stronger, felt like I had no problems, just went to waste, basically. So that was a little crushing and made me really consider if I wanted to continue being a student athlete. So I was like, I'm going to just kill it in school, get great grades, and be the best teammate I can as far as on the bench and in practices. So it was definitely harder mentally than physically because my surgeon did a really good job, and from the injury that I had, you shouldn't really be coming back to play Division I sports. My ankle was pretty much obliterated.
So would you say that's kind of like, you had to go through their select season being canceled. You felt like you got screwed there. You have all the injury problems. Mentally, how were you able to stay afloat? Because I know I've talked to, especially the other night, I was talking to a bowling friend of mine. Felt like his entire career was getting screwed over, and he couldn't overcome that. So for you personally, how were you able to get that done?
I'm drawing a blank on the athlete counselor or sports counselor that was at PFW, but I met with him a few times because I was really struggling. And he really wrapped my head around, this isn't a end of the road for you. This is a obstacle that you can get around, and if you don't feel like your value at this school, or if you don't feel that your place at Purdue Fort Wayne is going to help with that, then you should enter the portal and leave. And I promise you there are other opportunities out there where you will find happiness and a better family of team or school there. So I want to say his name is Donovan. I can't remember his last name, but he helped me out a lot with the whole mental issues I had.
Yeah, we have that on campus, by the way. So if there's any athletes listening, there are tools on campus. I should have used them. I know I should have. You heard that story. Use them. We got some free tools here on campus.
And before I get into my next question, we might be a Lindenwood show, but shout out to the Purdue guy who helped you out on that. That's awesome, especially kind of saying that it's an obstacle and not just a roadblock. You already kind of told us, though, how you came to be at Lindenwood through your club team member and talking to the coach and everything.
Yeah.
However, how would you sort of assess your performance so far this year? And how would you say the chemistry is between you and your teammates, going into your first year so far?
The first year here, we definitely had some bumps in the road, and I think that there just could have been a little bit more of cohesion between our team. I think that we got along off the court really well, but I don't think that we had that full buy-in. But this year has been a completely change in our team's mentality. The coaches are doing a really good job, and I got to tip my hat to Joe and Mike, because we had conversations about this as the year ended last year, and we knew what we had to bring this year. So really proud of how everyone's answered this year, and just the complete shift in attitudes from last season to this season. It really shows how strong, mentally we are as a team, because we lost maybe five, 6 guys last year, 12 returners, and each one of them bought in 100% this year and are really bringing it.
So, kind of building off that, we're going to go into how this season has gone so far. What were your expectations coming into your senior year, and what sort of expectations did your coach set for the team as well?
Yeah, we talked about goals, and each year we say we want to win the MIVA, and this year it's not just something that we were saying. We were doing every step it took to do it. We are working our butts off in preseason. We are doing everything that the coaches are asking of us, and we're doing the extra stuff off the court. Especially one of the biggest things that we've been talking about this year, that me, Joe, and Mike talked about in my meetings at the end of last year, was the importance of film and understanding how we can strategize our team against other teams. And we brought it up a million times this year, and every single time our guys just answer. So I think that is our expectations for this year were so high, because we knew that if we just put in the work, we're going to get as much as we put into it out of it. So we expect to be a top team in the MIVA, and we expect to go to the national tournament this year.
Well, that's a pretty nice goal to have, and you guys are living up to it so far. But I do want to ask you about, I know we're talking about this season now, but coming in last year, you are a setter, pretty darn good one at that. But you got to build chemistry with all the guys. You're coming into a new school with new faces, then you have new faces again this year with people moving around. How long did it take to build that chemistry?
I got to say it takes over a year, because I guess with a returning starter like Tendy, him and I are both captains. I guess Lincoln as well as captains. We know exactly how each other tick, right? And last year, when you have Lincoln starting as a freshman, Tendy getting time off the bench from the year prior, and me coming in as a transfer setter, it's how do these guys play? Right. We have to work all year to do that, and we had pretty much an entire new starting lineup last year, whereas we are returning, I think, 4 or 5 of our starters out of 7 this year. So we've played together. We know how each other work, and it's something that you can't build that overnight. You need to stay in touch over the summer. You need to stay in touch over every break and kind of become real friends rather than just people that play on the volleyball court together.
So I got to ask, because I'm not a big volleyball head. I've been learning since I got to Lindenwood, because I didn't watch it in high school. But then I've been working with main media, watching all the games. You're a setter. The vision of the court is something that I don't think I could ever do. When there's a guy coming across the other side, someone else is going up as well. How do you decide who's getting the ball? And how do you make that read? It's a weird question, because I don't know how you describe it, but
I guess the best way I could describe it as like how a football or a quarterback would have progressions.
Yeah.
Before the play even happens, I have my matchups that I like. This blocker's going to be on this guy. This blocker isn't really good at covering his guy, and based on the pass, it's a long explanation. So I guess the short way is that before the play even happens, I have an idea of who I want to set beforehand, and if things go our way correctly, I give the ball to that player. If not, I take a look through the net. It's a split-second decision where I can change my mind if I need to, or I've got my guy that's just going to put the ball away in that situation.
And when you say when the play starts, is that after the ball has already come over and, someone in the back row has bumped it up? Is that kind of when you're making that decision, or is that even before the ball's coming over?
So I have a decision pre-serve of who I like in this row, who I like right now in the game based on how they're playing, and then it really changes based on the pass location and then how the other team's defense is shifting when I take a peek through the net. So it's a quick split-second peek. Do I see anyone moving one way or the other? Do I see someone's hands down? And then I can make that decision pretty quickly through years of practice. I mean, I've been playing volleyball about half my life, so it becomes almost like a natural, quick move to then make that decision.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's a sport that I've always wanted to understand better, and we're working on it now. We're definitely getting better week to week.
Getting
You're
better
asking
at
the right
it.
questions.
So, speaking of, progressions and stuff like that, progression through the season, most importantly, how you guys started it. You lost to Long Beach to start the season. However, you would then beat number 12 at the time, CSUN, and then Menlo College. How did you feel about not only yourself, but also your team with that sort of strong start, beating a ranked opponent in just your second game?
Yeah. So just to touch on the Long Beach at first, we came in with confidence and we know we were a good team and we can compete really well against this team. We just needed a few things to go our way. And then after playing Long Beach, we knew where we fell short. Yeah. So we picked that up. CSUN, that's where that film comes into play. We studied the hell out of them. I mean, we knew everything they were going to do before they did it. And we made a few errors along the way. We gave them a full set in errors.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what kept it close. But we didn't have to even play our cleanest game, and we ended up beating them in 4. And at that point, we knew, when we start playing really clean volleyball, we were going to be untouchable.
I mean, yeah, you had over 10 assists per set in that game, which I believe is basically your average right now, right? Over 10 assists?
Yes, yeah.
So you played really good in that one. So how did you feel after that one? And kind of what was the vibe with the team? 'Cause I know you said you guys expected to be competing, but it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to do it.
That was our first showing that we are doing it and can continue to do it. And I was just super impressed with the way that we prepared ourselves before that match, and we decided this is the standard, and this is either we keep it here or we bring it up. There's no going back at this point. So it was just felt really ecstatic about it. It was our first ranked win and first home win as well. So a great way to start the season and a really good outlook on what the season could be like.
And, speaking of ranked opponents and home wins and all that, after that, you would go on to win 4 more before going and playing number 7 ranked Loyola at the time. What has made this team so dominant on their own home court? What has been the secret to defending the home front, pretty much?
I mean, our fans definitely show up and bring the energy. You see the ace cards out there when so we just feed off each other's energy so well, and it's just a whole new vibe. I can't really explain. I don't know if it's gonna be like that on the road, but I know that our bench is bringing energy. I said it to them, and I'll say it to anyone, that we have the best bench in the country. They chirp the other team, and they hype us up, and they also challenge us in practice. Yeah. We talk about how we need to have the second best team in the country has to be the other team across the net from the starters on our team. So it has to be our backups in practice, and they bring it every single practice. They challenge us all the time, and it makes us better. I mean, I could name almost all 17 guys that are currently, 16 guys that are not injured, that have gotten better in a certain different way in the last 4 weeks since we've been on campus practicing. It's ridiculous because our coaches ask something or they put something up on the board about this is what teams are going to scout about you. They immediately change and do something else and try something new. It's so that our hunger for growth and our hunger for competition is what makes us better and different this year.
Yeah, I know, because I run all the broadcasts with main media, so I'm usually on camera or in there, and we love the bench. Like, I know Stonic's running around here somewhere in the radio station. He's one of the play-by-play announcers. The beach ball rave, where you guys get the ball up there, they're bouncing it around.
That one's a good one.
Getting all the shots of the ace cards. So I really like the energy this year from the fans. But if you're listening to this, go to a game. We say this every show. We always try. I know we don't have any motion on campus. I mean, we're just two guys on a radio station, but come on, guys. Like, it's fun. It's fun to go out. Plus, ranked 13 right now?
13 currently.
Highest ever. So, like, a ranked team on campus beating other ranked teams, got to show up for that. But speaking of ranked wins, the Loyola match. I know that every week we do predictions on this show. We're like, we don't see Lindenwood winning this one. I mean, yeah, we beat CSUN. It's Loyola to have the history there where Loyola usually owns Lindenwood. What was your guys' mentality coming in?
In that first set, we kind of lost that one. That one slipped through our fingers. But beforehand, we were super confident. There was not a single night that we weren't, like, there wasn't a single moment in that night that we weren't going to win that game to us. There was complete, utter confidence. We were down, I think, 17-12 in the third set, or maybe it was third or second set. We were down 17-12. We make a comeback to win 30-28. Like, we were not ready to lose. We didn't want to lose at all. It was just pure grit from us to go out there and work our way back out of any holes we dug ourselves into, and just another great example of us being prepared for an opponent.
Yeah, that extra point set, that was electric to watch that, because that was one of the few times where I got to be a fan. Like, dude, that was awesome. Like, to just see us go that long. You guys didn't give in, just kept going.
Yeah, I've played in many collegiate games throughout my 5 years of a Division I athlete, but that was probably the most fun I've ever had playing volleyball.
Well, also in that match, you reached 2,000 career assists, and it's a big game, and not all athletes are aware of their numbers. Going into that one, were you aware of that? And when it happened, did it hit you at all, or did you just push it away, keep going?
I was not even aware it happened until after the match. So I really don't keep track of my stats, or, I mean, now I do when I'm leading, but I guess I'm not like one person that is chasing accolades or chasing a certain amount of stats. I want to go out and win. So that's like the number one thing before each game is I don't need to reach 2,000 stats in this, or 2,000 assists in this game. I need to help my team win the game.
And, after that number 7 win, and sorry for doubting you guys, I promise.
It's all right.
Yeah.
You
But we
weren't
know
the
better
only
now.
ones, by the way. You weren't the only ones.
But you would go on to play number 11 Lewis, and you seemed to walk with a little bit more swagger. Like, people could kind of tell that you guys had a little bit more gusto in that step. Did y'all definitely feel that going into that match with Lewis?
I think that was another one where we just were aware that what we've done to prepare for it is going to just dominate that team. And we're set up for success against that team, unfortunately for them. They have their system that they want to do things in, and our system is probably the perfect counter for it. So I have a feeling that they're probably going to have to change that for the next time they play against us, but we're gonna be scouting them the same, and we're going to be ready for any adjustments that they make, and we're going to walk with that same swagger and gusto for the next one.
Yeah, Lewis has been a weird team if you look at the history, because for a long time they just owned Lindenwood. Every matchup, Lewis wins. And then recently, it's even when the team isn't at their best, we're splitting the series with them every year. Mm-hmm. Now this year, we're hoping for the sweep. But like in that one, you had 5 aces. And this season compared to last year, I mean, you're seeing those numbers go way up for yourself. The errors are down. What did you change with your serve?
I don't know if I really changed anything, to be honest. The weird thing is I found out in August this summer that I actually have a torn shoulder. So
Oh, wow.
I've been playing with a torn shoulder this whole time, and there's been times in this year where it really hurts to keep playing, but when I go out there and the adrenaline's pumping, I don't feel it, and I want to go out there and hit the ball hard. I don't know if I've really changed anything. Maybe I've added a few more tools into my duffel bag with it, but I just go out there, pray I have a good toss, and hit the ball as hard as I can.
Yeah, it's a really big turnaround. I mean, like last year, of course, still good behind the line, but right now you're 3rd nationally in aces per set. I mean, that's quite a big jump there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've been messing around a little bit more with our team calls it the Tom and Jerry, a little bit of the cat and mouse game, where if you want to hit it hard, you get them the Tom, and you can hit them with the short serve, but that's the Jerry. And if you saw Owen playing against Lewis, he had 3 Jerrys in a row against them, 3 short serves in a row, which I don't think I've ever seen that work before, so kudos to him. But that was probably the funniest moment I've ever experienced.
That was crazy. Because I think they called timeout after the 3rd one, right?
Yeah.
You guys all came out and mobbed him.
They called it way before that.
So, kind of capping off the season for this, you guys are now 8-1, and you have beaten 3 nationally ranked teams. What sort of effect does that have on the morale for this team, especially for the rest of the season? Because, kind of like you said, we weren't the only ones that doubted. I'm sure there were other people that were also spreading that of like, oh, Lindenwood's not going to beat, Loyola or even Lewis. But how does it feel to kind of prove them all wrong and to basically stand on the shoulders and be like, ha-ha.
Yeah. It definitely feels like that, ha-ha.
Yeah.
But we knew, like, one of the things that's on our whiteboard still is adopt the underdog mentality. As we're going to be overlooked, people aren't going to recognize the changes we've made this year until we shove it in their face and make them see it. So we, throughout this entire season, have just said, we're the underdogs. Let's adopt that underdog mentality, and let's prove everybody wrong. But I'm curious what's going to happen when we're now the top dogs later on in the season. If we can continue this swagger that we have, that what happens when we finally get the respect we deserve? Are we going to continue that underdog mentality, or are we going to let our egos get a little too big, which I hope that we don't. But, it's easier said than done, obviously.
Yeah. At that point, just survive the trap game when it comes around.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen from a few teams this year across Lindenwood is, okay, we're winning a bunch of games, and we barely beat the best team in the conference. Hang on. But, this year is your senior year. And I got to ask, what would it take for this to be a successful year in your eyes?
Win the MIVA at this point. We've set the standard that we are capable of beating these so-called better-than-us teams, and we currently are competing like the best team in the MIVA. So if we can continue this standard of compete our asses off and beat all these teams, then I think that would be making this a successful season.
I love the confidence that you're bringing it because, I could definitely tell this isn't a play, like, it's not coming from a place of ego. It's not coming from, a place of, like, selfishness. This is, like, you genuinely have confidence in this team and in this system and in your coaches, and that's awesome to see. That's awesome to see from any of the athletes here. But earlier we talked about the goals that the coach might have set. What sort of personal goals did you set for yourself going into this season?
Personally, I don't know if this is a measurable goal, but I just hope to become closer with all my teammates this year and really make some memories with them. Because ultimately this is my last year in college and I'm never going to get experiences like this again. So making the most of this year was definitely top of my list for goals as far as off the court goes. Yeah. On the court, I don't really have any personal goals. I'm not looking to become a first team All-MIVA or an honorable or like an AVCA All-American. It really was, I want to put the team first, and I want us to win as many games as we can and every game that we should.
Yeah. So I think we've pretty much gotten the semantic, the pro talk, or the sort of like, the technical stuff out of the way. So we'll go ahead and ask you a few fun questions. You've been in St. Charles, St. Louis for such a short time. I know you're from Wisconsin. What are some of the unique places that you've been able to go to in like St. Charles, and what do you think of the St. Louis area as a whole?
I've started to fall in love with the St. Louis area. I used to come down here for some tournaments for club, and I absolutely hated it. I was like, I hate St. Louis. There was a snowstorm every single time.
That's fair. That's so fair.
I hated St. Louis, but there are some really cool spots downtown. I used to work for my cousin's restaurant, which was like a Cajun Creole restaurant, and I just love seafood now. So I checked out this place in Soulard, and I can't wait for Mardi Gras this weekend. But I checked out this.
That's so great.
Soulard, okay. I've been.
The names are weird down here.
We're kind of French, we're kind of not. It's really dependent on how you want to say it.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. So down in the Soulard, there's Broadway Oyster Bar. I checked that place out, and they host live, I guess, almost like Deadhead bands, and they have really good oysters. So I went alone one day on a really nice sunny day last spring, and it was a really good fun time. Just enjoying some live music. I've also been to the Missouri Botanical Gardens when they did that's a really nice place. And I'm hoping to hit up the St. Louis Zoo at some point, maybe hit up some of the museums before I get out of here too.
Also hit up Busch one time.
Yeah.
Oh, Busch Stadium?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I went with my cousins last April, I believe, for Brewers versus Cardinals. We got absolutely destroyed in that series.
He was talking about that before you came on, of how Wisconsin was wondering if you were a Brewers fan or not.
Yeah. Big time Brewers fan.
You guys can look down on us now. We're going to be competing with the Pirates for the bottom of the division this year, so it's going to be a weird year here in St. Louis. But I do have one recommendation. Go over to Alton, go to Fast Eddie's with some teammates sometime.
Fast Eddie's. I've actually heard good things about that. I think one of my friends, Owen, in class, had his 21st birthday there.
That's where everyone around here, if you turn 21, you go there.
Okay, Fast
Eddie's.
Great
mixed drinks, and then they have live music and like an outside patio that's not outside. There's like a tarp over it, and it's air conditioned.
Fast Eddie's.
It's a really nice hangout spot, especially for like post-victory game.
Well, it is like 40 minutes away, though.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, yeah.
We'll save it for a free weekend or something.
My recommendation, some place that's really wacky in downtown, City Museum. Okay. Go there, just check it out. I know you'll probably see a lot of kids running around, but there's a lot of really cool exhibits. It was made by a sculpture artist that was really famous here in St. Louis, and you can get on the bus that's on the top of the building. Don't be afraid that it's half hanging off the building. It's secure, I promise.
Okay. All right.
I couldn't do it. There's also a Ferris wheel on the roof, too. It's basically like a giant playground, like a giant art exhibit that you can, like, screw around it.
Yeah.
That does sound cool.
So, imagine you're the commissioner right now. Men's volleyball, the whole scene, what you says goes. What is one thing that you would change in the entire men's volleyball scene?
One thing I would change. I would reduce the amount of challenges. Makes volleyball unwatchable. I mean, the games are a little too long on TV. There's way too many breaks. I want nonstop action, and I'd reduce the amount of challenges.
How many challenges is it currently?
We've got 3. I know women's have 2, but I guess our speed is a little bit higher. But I think our reasoning is that we just have worse review systems. But
I mean, we're trying.
Yeah.
They use our replay angles for it, and The one angle that we don't have control over is never in focus. The
Okay.
net cam, because it gets moved around so much. It sits up there, it gets out of
Yeah.
focus, then someone from athletics has to go up there. So sometimes I peek over at the ref and I'm like, dude, you can't even use the net cam. Like, it's just not, it's not usable half the time. So I feel bad when you guys are challenging stuff around the net because you can't see it.
It's a momentum stopper, and it would just it kind of ruins the immersion in the game, I think, for the fans, because you're sitting there and that's such a tight play. Let's just make a judgment call, right? And maybe that gets people more into the game. If they don't like a call, they're going to argue with it. It's kind of like NBA refs right now. I swear they must be doing this on purpose because it just gets people yelling and talking about how bad they are. So maybe they just remove it altogether, because I think that it might get the fans a little bit more into it. If it's a little bit more of a judgment call thing, then let's sit around for 5 minutes to make sure that this ref can see this or whatever. Like, it just sucks.
That's actually, because normally it's something small. I like that you actually have a rule change that you would just do tomorrow.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a hard question. We always get the, I don't know. That's such a big question. So.
Yeah.
And then with the refs, I like that idea. It has a bit of controversy. Like, they might not get the call right, but it adds something.
It happens in the club scene. You don't have review in the club scene, and people, those parents get angry.
Yeah.
We've had to ref tournaments ourselves, being a part of the program, and those parents will scream at you, and you might go home crying. But you gotta toughen up and just make your call and be confident.
I'm a flag football ref.
Oh.
These kids are way too young, and these parents are way too angry, especially at 8 a.m.
Yeah,
Like, it's
ridiculous.
hot. It's 100 degrees out in the summer. Your kid has some little flags on his hip. Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
And football is so hard because it's judgment. But with volleyball, I see it because it's so fast. I mean, was the hand in the net? Was he over the line? There's some of these reviews that, even with our replay machine, it takes us so long to get an angle. So I get you on that, 1,000,000%. Now, you're a senior. I'm also a senior. Life is scary after this year. What is your major, and what are you planning to do?
My major's finance. I've got a minor in advertising, and I've been really enjoying that, actually. I got Professor Tooch, who just makes learning about advertising and doing advertising way more fun. So I actually haven't fully decided on what I'm going to do. I've got pretty much the decision is between working in finance, advertising, or going to play pro. And I think that if I decide not to go play pro, I'm going to really regret it. Yeah. But also, if my body breaks down out there and I get injured again, I'm going to really be pissed that I went to play pro. So it's really just I got to start weighing the positives and negatives.
Yeah.
So leaning towards playing pro at the moment.
And then what does the pro scene look like for men's volleyball?
That is mostly overseas. And there's some top tier leagues in countries like Italy and Poland where like really good, and Japan has some really amazing leagues where they have sold out crowds all the time. And then there's the smaller leagues where you kind of got to build your resume up, and then you can eventually work your way towards maybe playing on a national team, maybe playing in one of those top leagues. So it's competitive out there.
Yeah. I know I went to Poland a few years ago, and every stop that I went throughout the entirety of the Baltics, there was some sort of sand volleyball court or some sort of volleyball net that somebody had ready to go. So I'm glad that you kind of confirmed my suspicions. I had no idea that it was like that big out there. That's awesome.
They got a love for volleyball in Poland. I mean, they won the VNL, which is the Volley Nations League, but they ended up falling short and getting the silver medal at the Summer Olympics. But they're a really good team, and someone that I actually scout myself to learn some new things about setting and stuff like that.
So, final question, and this is normally what we do to cap it off with every athlete, and it is just simply, what is something that you wish more people understood or knew about men's volleyball as a whole?
Something that I wish people knew about is I wish more people just knew about college men's volleyball. I know there's a lot of talk about women's volleyball, but I think men's volleyball is just as entertaining. I watch a lot of the women's volleyball myself, and even our women's team here is very good and fun to watch. So I wish that it was more of a mainstream sport. Unfortunately, it probably won't be for many years to come. But I like what we're doing at the moment with growing the tournament, get more schools into the tournament. So I think that more people are going to start to know about it and become a bit more dedicated fans, which is cool.
Yeah, they're going to need, like, one of these leagues needs TV rights here in the U.S., and I think that would probably do it. But you don't grow up seeing it, so you don't think about it.
Yeah.
I watched everything, but I was like, volleyball? I actually did play volleyball for like a season.
Oh, really?
Dude, so my mom was like, hey, there's this practice league at the Y. They'll instruct you. You'll get better. And they're like, actually, we're canceling that, and you're going to play on the best team in the entire league.
Oh, nice.
And you're playing a bunch of girls, but you're on the dudes team. Like, okay, so we're going to win every game, and I'm going to be useless. And we did. We basically won every game, and if they hit it at me, it was going on the ground. So that was sixth grade me was not good at men's volleyball. No.
Sixth grade me wasn't great either, so.
It's a learning curve. It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully, this week got some big games coming up. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
I guess I'll ask one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Got this game against Ball State coming up. I'm looking at it, and I don't want to like spoil my prediction, but I don't know how to feel yet. How do you guys feel about this one coming up?
Well, to be honest, we're looking at Purdue Fort Wayne first. They're a meaty opponent, and they've been competing really well, winning out some 5-setter games. So we got to focus on Purdue Fort Wayne. But Ball State is definitely a talking point. A very good team, 10-1, and I believe their only loss is to UCLA. I could be wrong.
And they won a set in that one.
Yeah, so #1 team in the country. So definitely going to be a tough matchup for us. They've got an unbelievable hitter in Patrick Rogers. So if we can slow him down and if we can keep up our service pressure, I think we can look towards winning that game. It's just we got to be ready to come out of the gates firing because Ball State brings a tough atmosphere to play in. Yeah. I mean, most of us on the team know that. So the freshmen and some of the transfers don't know that yet, but it's going to be a tough atmosphere. So we got to be ready to bring the energy and ready to go out the gates.
I guess that helps with the underdog mindset coming in. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, for sure.
I was about to say, do you feel like that'll ground you a little bit more? Like, win or loss going into Ball State, you feel like that'll ground you in that underdog's mindset a little bit more?
I think so. I think that if it's still an upset victory for us, we still have a bit of an edge on these teams because it's really their game to lose.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think
extra pressure on them.
Yeah.
But once again, thank you for coming on the show today. I mean, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We appreciate having any athlete on the show. So what we're going to do now is, Justin, you're going to take the viewers into the den, and we're going to head out and take a photo.
All right. Sounds good.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Alrighty, everybody. We will go into the Lion's Den.
It's time to go inside the Lions Den and break down every current Lindenwood sports team.
Alrighty, so now we are going into the Lion's Den, and now you see, for those that are joining us on video, the one camera is off, but not off, but we're going into the den. So first, of course, we start with men's basketball. They are now 15-10 with only 6 games left, and only 3 of the 6 are going to be here at home. So I stress, go to the home games. Come on, you're students, you get in for free. Just go to the games. They went 1-1 last week, losing to SIUE, but beating Little Rock in a close matchup, ending in a 79-74 final score. In the SIUE game, Lindenwood were 28-70 in field goals and 5-19 in 3 points. Not a great game. But in the Little Rock game, Lindenwood at least improved their 3-point rate to 9-17, putting them above that 50% rate. So ultimately, this weekend was kind of a glass half full, glass half empty type weekend. They didn't do great against SIUE, but they were at least able to improve a little bit against Little Rock. Now, I say that like the field goals were there. The field goals were still a little bit lackluster in the second game, but at least the three-point percentage was getting above that 50%. So, James, what would you make of them not only having a sub-50 field goal rate, but also a sub-30 three-point rate in such a big rivalry matchup against SIUE?
Well, let's switch chairs really fast.
Yeah,
I'll
let's
let
switch.
everybody know my hot takes. That
Oh,
totally
I'm
matter.
so
yeah.
excited.
Yeah, as you should be.
And now you see me on my camera.
Yes, we got this set up properly now. Alrighty. Well, that was a great interview.
That was awesome.
That was a 50-minute interview.
I see that.
So we kind of got to speed run the rest of the show. We're going to be here for a bit.
A little bit. So, I think ultimately, though, shorter on the stats, longer interview, I almost like this episode like that.
Yeah. I mean, it also helps that you got a guy that wants to talk.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mentioned that to him. He's like, yeah, sorry, I like to talk. I'm like, bro, that makes the show for us,
Perfect.
you know?
We love hearing from the athletes. The whole unofficial tagline of this is for students, from students, by students. And, I don't know. I feel like that's a good way to go into the show.
It is. Now, the game you're referring to, we're talking about SIUE, right?
Yes, we are talking about SIUE right now.
Oh, that game was so frustrating, man. Okay, so you have a game like that. You have a team without their top two scorers in your own building, and there's so many fans there. One of the most attended games of the season by far. And you blow a 12-point lead in the second half.
It
no.
really doesn't help that they were right after women's basketball, who had probably one of the greatest fourth quarter comebacks that they could have had. And I know we were watching it live in the studio last week. And
I don't know if I want to call that a comeback, though. I agree. It was great.
They were down a couple points, but I guess it wouldn't necessarily warrant a comeback. More like they put the distance between them in that last fourth quarter.
They played like the Lindenwood Lions.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that. But, okay, so that game. Yeah, that's not great. 8 minutes left, 12-point lead, and they couldn't shoot the basketball anymore. I mean, they just got boxed out of the paint. And when they did get in the paint, they had opportunities for tip-ins. They just kind of biffed it. And it really doesn't help that SIUE shot 53% from three.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not sustainable. And of course, it happens against us. And they did the same thing the last time we played them, where they were making shots they had no business making. But of course, they do it when they're playing against our Lindenwood Lions. It sucks. It's very, very unfortunate. But that's life. And, as much as they struggled, and yeah, they really did struggle in the paint. I mean, they have the 7-footer on their team, Arnis Sakanis. He was everywhere. Had a hand on every single ball. I don't like the stats for basketball because you don't get credit for getting a hand on a ball unless you actually bring it back to yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like pass breakups or something that needs to be tracked for college because players like him are not getting any credit. Regardless, next game, Little Rock, 19 lead changes in this one, tight the entire way. Biggest lead in this game was 6 points. Lindenwood was up by 6 at one point. Little Rock was up by 6. It was never out of hand. It was always back and forth, which, good, because Lindenwood really did struggle against Little Rock the first time we played them, and it was a bit of that back and forth. But this time we come out on top because in the second half, we were 6 of 7.
Stop it.
From 3.
Stop it.
5 3-pointers from Frutrell, and
I feel
that one,
so
he
bad
got
for our
hot.
YouTube audience that they've got to watch you do that.
Well, I'm hoping we have an audience. Last week, 100 views on YouTube, so shout out you guys. Anyways, this game, overall, just good adjustments from Gerdeman. I mean, got guys open, got good shots for Futrell. He got hot, which definitely helps.
Yeah.
It was nice for Lindenwood to have a good shooting day, but it's the thing, if we don't shoot well, we're not winning. If we can't make the threes, we're not winning. At this point, that's what this team is. And I hate saying that. But you can't out-scheme it. If you can't make the shot, you can't make the shot. If the other team takes something away from you, or they take away the paint, and we're forced to go to the perimeter, it's not looking good.
Yeah.
So it's up to Gerdeman at this point to find a way to scheme around it, but there's only so much you can do with this roster. They're a good team. There's a lot of talent here, but they have some flaws, and other teams are able to exploit it. Luckily, though, did just enough to get over Little Rock.
Yeah. So that will actually finish up the, that part of men's basketball. So we're going to go ahead and get into our predictions. I will give the date and times after the predictions, though. So my prediction right now, I am going to say that we are going to win at UT Martin, but we are going to lose against SEMO. That's right. I am going 1-1 this week, and purely because, UT Martin beat Lindenwood 69-55 last go-around and have not slowed down since then. The last 2 losses were against Moorhead and SEMO. Lindenwood has beat both, but kind of barely squeaked by Moorhead the last time they played. They're coming off of a horrid 15% three-point mark against Moorhead, and while Lindenwood has struggled recently, they have not lost 2 in a row to the same opponent all season. So, with those, stats in, I think we're going to win against UT Martin. However, SEMO has only lost to one opponent since their loss to Lindenwood on national TV. So we at least got to embarrass them once this season. That was great. Lowest score difference in a game since then was 4 points against Western Illinois. Western Illinois is worse in the conference, though, so the 4-point difference isn't necessarily a vote of confidence for SEMO. You should be putting up more than 4 points against the worst in the conference.
That's a team you got to beat badly.
That's kind of bad. Doesn't seem to look dominant with the teams they played, but you can't argue with the fact that they're currently on a 6-game win streak. So while they have some ugly stats like only 4-point win against worst team, and overall the stats aren't looking phenomenal, they're finding ways to win, and I don't think Lindenwood has it this go around.
I got the stain on my shirt, man.
I see that.
I think I dropped some water. Okay, I cleaned my water bottle today, and it has the seals on the inside.
Yeah.
I took the seals out. So I'm wondering if maybe it's leaking.
You should have left the seals in.
No. There was like black stuff on it, dude.
Then throw away the water bottle. Anyway, we need to get back on track with these predictions.
No,
right,
no, we don't need to do that.
I gave mine. What are your predictions going into this next one?
The exact opposite of you.
Really?
Look, I understand UT Martin played like dog doo-doo. They couldn't make a basket to save their life in their last game. But they have the 3rd best scoring defense in the country. In the country. Like, that's not like, you're good in the AVCA. No, they're a lockdown team. And yeah, scoring might be a problem for them sometimes. But what they lack in shooting, they make up for in rebounding.
Yeah.
Lindenwood and UT Martin are the top 2 rebounding teams in this conference. Yeah, they're going to miss some shots, but more often than not, because of how big they are, as they're one of the biggest, tallest teams in the conference, they're going to go get the ball. They're going to reset their possession, and they're going to throw up another shot, and usually they'll make it.
Yeah.
I just don't like Lindenwood here. I mean, they are a big team, and they rebound well, and they play good defense. And Lindenwood this year has not done good against size and against strong defenses because they take away a few of your options. Like, last game was weird because Jadis Jones wasn't the main option in the paint. They actually made their threes. If they do that, maybe they'll win. But I don't think that's something that you can rely on consistently. One guy cannot be relied upon to shoot over 50% from 3. It's not happening. Steph Curry cannot do that. I mean, he could at this level. He'd put up 80 billion points every game. It'd be like shooting in the gym for him. But the best 3-point shooters out there are going to have bad days.
Yeah.
So you can't put the entire weight of the team on Aeneas. And if he doesn't shoot well, we're not beating UT Martin.
Yeah.
Even if he does, it's a toss-up. So give me UT Martin. Now, SEMO, on the other hand, they have a 6-game win streak coming in. They beat UT Martin and Moorhead State handedly. These are teams that are really good, top of the conference. But as we mentioned, UT Martin, sometimes they just don't shoot the ball. Yeah. Sometimes they just miss all their shots. But last time they played us, the second half, they kind of exposed us completely.
Yeah.
The second half of that game was 58-43 in favor of SEMO, but the first half, they could not make a shot. Their shooting was terrible. Lindenwood clamped them down. I am a little scared coming in that they're going to adjust the game plan against us.
Yeah.
And the entire time, they're going to play with that swagger. There are also no nerves. You're not on national television. I think Lindenwood's going to win because they have to win because you just can't lose. You can't lose back-to-back. Not right now. Not with the way the race is, not with the seeding. They'll find a way to win. But this is going to be close.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a tight basketball game. So as much as I, the back of my mind, I'm like, I think SEMO is going to win. For the sake of this show, I'm going with Lindenwood because I want to have some belief.
And, that's fair. And if you want to watch these games yourself, you can either go to Robert Highland Arena and just go watch them in person, because the UT Martin game, that's Coaches versus Cancer Night, so that's very nice. And then the SEMO game is also Senior Day. So it's a rival, it's an OVC rival, and it's where they're going to honor all the seniors on this team. Go show your love, go show your support, go watch this Lindenwood team. However, if you're out of town for whatever reason, or, because one of these games is on Valentine's Day, ESPN Plus, watch it on your phone under the dinner table. I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit that's what I'll do next year with the Super Bowl.
Dude, I'm kind of mad that I can't go to Milos's last game. He came on the
Right.
show, he gave us his time, and I can't go because I'm going with the baseball team down to Arkansas. But I got one final point I want to make before we move to women's hoops, and I'm going to make the same point there at the end. So let's pull up the attendance stats here for the OVC this year, because they actually keep track of that. If you want to look at that, go to this conference stats.
Let me do the day and time, and then we'll do attendance record.
Did you know? Oh, my Lord.
So UT Martin, Thursday, 7:30 p.m., Robert Highland, or on ESPN Plus, or Saturday at 3:30 p.m., Robert Highland or ESPN Plus. So,
I can't get over how you call it Robert Highland.
well, it's Robert F. Highland, but
Everyone on campus calls it Highland.
I get it. I'm old-fashioned.
I mean, maybe you're not close with Robert like I am, but like,
Look,
I'm calling him Highland.
I'm going through my mid-20s crisis. Leave me be.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, I kind of screwed this whole thing up.
No,
but attendance.
no, attendance.
So this really caught my eye today, because there's some stinker teams in the conference this year.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, no one's going to Tennessee State. No one's going to Western Illinois. No one's going to Tennessee Tech. But more people are going to watch Tennessee Tech play men's basketball than Lindenwood. We have a good team. We're a talented team. We're a very fun team to watch. We're not playing boring basketball. We're fast-paced. We're in your face. We give up a lot of points. We score a lot of points. This is what you want to watch.
Yeah.
And yet you look at our averages for the year, and we are only averaging 1,000 fans per game. The top team in the conference is SEMO with 2,200. Beneath them, SIUE. They're not all that good. They have great support. Little Rock. They're not all that good. They have great support. UT Martin. Even USI, who is terrible this year.
Yeah.
They play bad hoops. They are an ugly team to watch play basketball. This is a problem, not with the team, but it's a concerning thing for me as a person who's leaving the university this year. How are people not showing up? We got to promote more.
They're just not going
There has to be more promotions. There has to be more promos. There needs to be a reason to go to these games for students. I genuinely think they need to revamp the inside of that arena and give space for students to do homework.
That, or what they could do, and a lot of it is online. A lot of their promo is on social media or the official athletic site. Not a lot of people go to those sites. I mean, we're on there, and we're on there consistently, but that's because we follow
And
these
I'm still
teams
missing
and
stuff.
we do all that. I swear, I have, like, it wasn't until we were about to start last week that doubleheader that I was seeing was that Tuesday. I thought that was on Thursday. So maybe it's a marketing thing. Maybe they just need to start doing, like, athletics needs to do, like, flyers. Send a couple athletics people to Spelman. Send a couple people to the Lark and just start handing out flyers. Hey, game Thursday, game Saturday, game Thursday, game Saturday. Take a flyer, take a flyer, take a flyer. Like, just basically throw it in the students' faces of, hey, you have a team. Support your team.
Right. And like,
Yeah.
honestly, there needs to be like half off concessions for students. I think both the ends, like by the hoops, the way the seating is done, nobody sits there. And the band's only there for like 1 or 2 games a year. The way it's done over at the hockey arena is there's actual tables that are set up so you can actually stand and watch the game.
Yeah.
People have homework to do. This is, we're students. You have somewhere to set up your laptop that's not sitting on a bench. They're uncomfortable as well. I think that would do a lot for the students here. And I'll just make the point now since, it'd be kind of redundant to not mention it, but women's basketball. They have, 779 average
Yeah.
for attendance? Less than 1K for the better team, for the team that might go to March Madness this year. That's a problem.
That's a really big problem.
But you know what's not a problem? Women's basketball team winning a bunch of games.
No, that is not a problem in the slightest. That was a great segue, by the way. You're doing so good. Anyway, so they are 2-0 coming out of the week with SIUE game going on while we were live last week. You heard our live reactions, and, well, you didn't see them because the cameras weren't set up just yet, but you heard our live reactions as we were watching them. Beat SIUE 82-69 and beat Little Rock 92-54. So they were not shy to flaunt their skills in the slightest over the weekend. They played great. Shot 29 for 54 for field goals during the SIUE game and 31 for 55 during the Little Rock game. Both games also had their fair share of threes, with a 37.5% during SIUE and a clean 50% against Little Rock. So what did you kind of make of this team over the weekend? Because, as you said, they're the better team, and we talked about their attendance and all that, but, like, the stats backing them up, they were really the better team going into the weekend.
Don't let them get hot.
Yeah.
If they are shooting well, nobody can beat them. Like, if they get to March, right, and they get a 1 seed, they play up against a 1 seed, and Lindenwood starts making shots early, sorry for that 1 seed, man. It might be upset watch. If you don't make your shots that game, it's over. But we all know what this team, as good as they are from 3, and they are, I believe, top 3 in the country in three-point percentage right now, when they're not making them, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Same with the men's team. They kind of rely on it. Luckily this week, they just shot the lights out. So you're going into that game with SIUE. You're down 2 going into the fourth quarter against a team you know you need to beat, that you should beat. You actually beat them really badly the last time, and yet they're giving you a game. You outscore them 25-10 in the fourth quarter. You hold them to 0 for 5 from 3, and you don't give them a single free throw. You don't give them any free points.
Yeah.
That's a great fourth quarter. And I know I was reacting to it live here, but I was really happy with what I saw. They played great basketball. And then on our side, we were milking the fouls. I mean, we were getting to the line at a great rate. SIUE only had 5 more personal fouls. I mean, fouls are fouls, man. Sometimes you foul, it's just an inbound. It was all on shots.
Yeah.
It was all shooting fouls. For whatever reason in this game, SIUE could not stop fouling us. And we shot 9 more free throws, went 16 of 18 from the line, and did not miss a free throw until the fourth quarter. 16 of 18. Near perfection. I called them out last show. I said, man, we haven't been so good from the line recently. And they shut me up quick.
They did. No, they must have heard you and said, you know what, we're going to prove him wrong this week, just to make him look dumb on his own show.
Now, Little Rock, dude, this university, what do you even say? You got beat by Lindenwood by 38 points twice. Just pack it up. If you're in the tournament, just don't show up.
No, I was looking at like photos and stuff of like their home stadium. Their stadium looks cool. Looks not bad.
Pretty empty by the end of the game.
Well, I'm talking about the aesthetic. I'm not talking about the attendance.
Oh, I'm just taking a shot.
Oh, that's fair.
Because they got the brakes beaten off of them again. They can't make shots against us.
No.
We do a really good job of just making them shoot threes, and this season they are 5 for 33 from 3 against Lindenwood. Given they are not a very good three-point shooting team, but that is well below their season averages. And then you look at the way they like to play defense. They want to take away the three-pointer. Get out there on the perimeter. Take it away from teams. They're actually pretty good at it this year. It doesn't work against us because we just go down low, we get into the paint, they have to collapse their defense in, and then all of a sudden, Ellie Brueggemann's getting open looks from the outside. Yeah. Or Alyssa Nielsen. Not a name we mentioned like ever on this show.
No.
A great role player for this team. She had 16 points. She was the leading scorer, 4 of 7 from 3, and that is her most points in a game since February 10th of 2024. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's only the second time this year that she's led the team in scoring. She did it. You played a team that you were beating the crap out of, and she took advantage of it. Got to pad the stats a little bit, and just shout out to her. I mean, she played a great game.
Oh, yeah. No, she definitely showed, she showed up when the rest of the team kind of fell back a little bit. fell back a little bit.
Yeah, they slowed down.
Air quotes. But no, she played great. And honestly, it's just great to see that team cohesion so late into the season. Because that's a scary thing to see.
Right.
Like, this is really sort of make or break time on the season. And seeing that they're as strong as ever in, their camaraderie with each other to where they can build up some of those lesser-known players like that. Yeah, Lindenwood's going to be scary come postseason time.
We talked about this at the beginning of the year. You're like, okay, the starters are good. That bench, I don't know. This week you saw Maya Scoff go off.
Yeah.
You picked up Alicia Jones this year. She can go crazy anytime. Valerie Norwood's playing really confident basketball. And then Alyssa Nielsen just does this. Anybody on this team can go off. And that is the beautiful thing about this team. That's what makes them so scary. And that's why I think if they make it to March, which I pray they do, they're going to be hard to scheme up against, even if you're a 1 seed.
I think it's valid to say, good job, Coach Egan. This is a great team. And this is your team. They are playing with the grit that you instilled into this team. That's not taking credit away from the students. I'm sure they busted their tail all season long to do as well as they did.
Amy makes them bust their tail.
But exactly. You can't do it without a great coach behind you. And all around, this women's basketball team is so much fun to watch. So let me tell you where you can watch them next, right? UT Martin. That game is on Thursday. No.
I'm doing a segue. So I'm on the camera. It looks like I'm segueing away. That's what I'm doing.
Like a Paul Blart segue?
Yeah, because it was a beautiful segue.
Yeah, it was. So Thursday, 5 p.m. That is UT Martin at Highland Arena. Let me fix it for you.
There you go. Thank you. Now you don't sound like a grandpa.
Right. That is the pink game, so that is also sort of a cancer awareness game. So show up, show out for that one. And then Saturday, 1 p.m., Highland Arena, SEMO Senior Day for the women's basketball. Show up and show out, people. I cannot stress this enough. These are two very important games. These two are going into a two-away game stretch, and then there's one more home game after these two. You have 3 opportunities to go to a home game the rest of the season. Yes, you can watch them on ESPN+. They're still there. But would you rather go watch the game for free because you're a student here on this campus? Or would you rather spend $10 a month on ESPN+ that you get the game and only the game and you don't even get all the fun stuff like the other stuff of ESPN? You get to watch the game and then that's it. So now you spent $10 on something that could have been free.
It's also genuinely the worst app and service of all time.
It really is. It's so bad to navigate.
I got blacklisted from watching ESPN Plus because they made a mistake earlier this year. My IP somehow got blacklisted by ESPN, so I'm going in to do research for a show. I need to clip stuff for my OVC Game Day show.
Oh, I remember that.
So then I have to call support, and this dude's like, yeah, I don't know what we can do for you, but I can check and see if your IP is blacklisted. Sure enough, they blacklisted me. So what we're trying to say is, go to the game. Our attendance numbers should not be that low. It's a fun atmosphere. You can get loud. You can get rowdy. You can sit in the front seat. And if you like to chirp the other team, do it. It is encouraged.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah. Now that you know when the games are, where the games are, our predictions, I've got W's all the way around over these next 2 games. I think we beat UT Martin and SEMO. UT Martin, 13-10, coming off back-to-back conference wins coming into this game. They beat Lindenwood last time, but 73-70. So it was literally by the skin of their teeth. And they're 4-8 on the road. So that could be a vote of confidence for Lindenwood. But also, as we were kind of breaking it down, Lindenwood has picked up a lot more steam since the last time they played UT Martin. I think this spells trouble for that team. SEMO, they're 8-15, no hope of a late season push. SEMO is bottom of the barrel. They're not a great team. They're not this is pretty much a throwaway game. For a senior day game, you could not ask for a better opponent because I genuinely think this is another one of those beat the brakes off of SEMO game, and know,
And it's nice to get the trap game on senior day so you know they're going to play hard.
Exactly.
They're not going to overlook the opponent.
They're 2-8 on the road, and fun little stat, out of the 10 games that they played in January, they won 4. No, they lost 4 of the 10 games in January, but they have not won a game yet in February, and they have played at least 3 games so far in February. So, I mean, they're not good. Lindenwood has that one in hand.
I hope.
I really do.
They should. They should.
Well, I'm predicting W's all the way around. James, what do you think they are?
I'm a little scared about UT Martin, and I'll tell you why. Even though I think we're gonna win,
Yeah.
I also think we're gonna beat SEMO because come on, it's SEMO. Like they're not that good this year. But the last time we played UT Martin, there's a girl on their team, Kenley McCarn. Might have heard of her. She's kind of good at basketball. She had 40 points in that game.
Yeah.
Lindenwood did not have an answer for her. Then you go to the end of the game. You have the BS blocking foul that gives them free throws right at the end of the game. It took a 40-pointer and the referees being blind for UT Martin to beat us.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens again. They're a good basketball team. Like, they have a good squad over there. I just genuinely do not think that they're going to beat Lindenwood. For one, Lindenwood's better at rebounding. We're actually 4th in the country in three-point percentage, not top 3. Only 4th. Well,
Only 4.
yeah, and look at the teams that are up there, by the way. It's all teams you've heard of and that you know and that are ranked. So that's pretty good company for Lindenwood. So you take these things into account. As long as we can keep their top scorer in check, because she's amazing, and we couldn't do it last time. If we do it, we're going to win. SEMO, they are sorry. They are a sorry team. They're 1-5 on the road in the OVC play. They cannot rebound to save their life, and they're shooting 27% from 3. They are not good. Lindenwood, it's senior night. It's a big game. Win. Just show up. Play hard. Don't overlook them. I'm begging you. This is not some trap game. It's your rival. Senior night. You're at home. Need a W here.
This is like the perfect storm to beat this team. It really is. So
Now, I will say, one thing they could do, though, if SEMO manages to get into the paint, that's where they do their damage. They can't make threes, but they're actually a really, really good team in the paint and from mid-range.
yeah.
I know Amy Egan knows that. So as long as the defense set up for that, we will win this basketball game. Just really hoping they don't overlook this team.
You know, speaking of mid-range on that one, that is almost a perfect way to describe this men's ice hockey team also. They're 13-13 because they went 1-1 at Stonehill over the weekend. They can't figure out how to actually have a winning record.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah. They cannot figure out how to have a winning record. They won their first game 3-1 and then proceeded to lose the following one 5-1. I could go on this whole analysis and talk about it and blah, 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 blah. But I've made jokes over the past 2 weeks. This is like the 3rd or 4th week in a row that I have had to make a perfectly mid joke because they have went 1-1 in every series. James, any thoughts on that?
It's Stonehill University. That's a sorry university for men's hockey.
Yeah.
Like, I'm genuinely, like, on this show, normally we try to stay positive.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed. Like, this hockey team has so much talent on it, and to just lay an egg, to just play like you don't care in the 3rd period, to just make all these errors, take a bunch of penalties, it's Stonehill. Like, you are an independent team. You're not probably going to any tournament at the end of the year other than the independent tournament. You gotta beat Stonehill. You beat them before, and you look at this one, okay, game 1, business as usual. Took care of it. Only 3 goals. It's fine. It's a win. You got to beat Stonehill by any means necessary. But game 2, it's like the old team, where for whatever reason, they cannot put together 2 games in a row. You know, Jaden Mercier, first goal of the game. It looks like business as usual. Game gets tied up. Then Lindenwood takes 3 straight penalties. And then you take a too many men, which just can't happen. You're playing a really, I don't want to keep driving this home, because it's just getting redundant at this point. But they're a bad team, and you're doing stuff like that. Too many men. So
This late into the season, too. They've only got like 1 or 2 series left.
right, and you got an even worse team this week. We'll get to that. So you take the too many men penalty. Right afterwards, they score. It's 2-1 going into the third period. It's within reach. It's Stonehill. Yeah, no, they get outscored 3-0. They get 1 power play. Could have changed the game for them. 0 shots. No shots on that power play. I'm just disappointed. I mean, I am. I wish I could have watched it so I could give you a better analysis of what truly happened in this one. But I'm just telling you, the eye test couldn't make this any better. So,
Yeah.
I'm just, I mean, I'm a little bit upset. There's so much talent on this team, and I know that against good teams, they can really bring it. And they have this team. I mean, this is a team that beat Denver this year.
Yeah.
They put together some really solid series. Just can't find a way to win 2 straight.
So we're just going to go ahead and get into their next game. And yeah, this next series is against the University of Alaska Anchorage. There's a game on Friday at 7:10 p.m. and a game on Saturday at 6:10 p.m. This is their last series. This is it. Because the next 2 games after Alaska Anchorage are exhibition games. So this is it for all the marbles before they go to the Hockey Cup, the Collegiate Hockey Cup. And it's at home, so I mean, don't buy Flow Hockey. Go watch the game in person. That's all that, like, I mean, you can. If you want to buy
Are you
Flow
referring
Hockey.
to the Hockey Cup?
Huh?
'Cause I believe the Hockey Cup's being hosted here, is it not?
Oh, yeah, the Hockey Cup is being hosted here, but I'm also talking about the games in Alaska Anchorage.
I was just asking about the Hockey Cup, because I thought we were
Yeah.
hosting again.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Just why spend money on Flow Hockey now when literally the rest of the season is here at home? Spend the money on the ticket. Just go there.
Thank God they're coming here and we're not going to Alaska again.
Right? I think that's why the timings are so convenient for us now. I'm saying maybe a 2-0 weekend.
You can't do maybes.
Look, I'm saying a 2-0 weekend, but I'm saying it's a maybe. Ultimately, my answer is locked on 2-0.
Okay.
I'm hoping for a 2-0. Will that happen? We'll see, because we've said 2-0 the past, 2 weeks. Anyway, Anchorage is 4-20-1. Coming out of a 3-2 win against Fairbanks in Game 2 of their series, but they had a 5-game loss streak before finally getting a win and having, no leg to stand on. If Lindenwood loses 1 game this series, that's season. That's done.
Yeah.
It's over. You cannot confidently go into the Collegiate Hockey Cup with a 500 record. It's just not the way to go. You want to go in with that slightly winning.
It's the way they did it.
Yeah.
You beat some good teams earlier in the year and you were competitive, but now you're sitting here we're splitting against some of the worst teams in the country. Mm-hmm. Fairbanks isn't good. Stonehill isn't good. We're splitting. So here we go. Let me just give you guys a rundown on Anchorage here. Because they are one of the worst teams statistically in the country, and that's not hyperbole. They're 4-20-1. They have the second worst face-off percentage and penalty kill in the country, the third worst scoring defense and offense, the worst scoring margin in the country. Their best goalie has a .902 save percentage and a 3.48 goals against average. Their leading scorers, the best guys on the team at scoring, they're tied with 5 goals, and they are the second worst team by pairwise in the entire country. Lindenwood, sweep. Has to happen. You just can't lose to this team. We are better. We have better talent. And this is not like, oh, they have to win. I'm not trying to be like a complete idiot here and call out the team or try to make anyone angry. This is just, as a team, in that locker room, you need to win this. This has to be a sweep. For the sake of confidence, to put 2 games together.
I think sweep is too mild of a term. Zamboni them. Literally. this should not be a close series in any stretch of the imagination. This should be 2-0, you come back to campus, and you're living La Vida Loca with, 2 exhibition games left, and then you're going to playoffs with a winning record. Like, that's just the way it's got to be. That's just the way that it's got to be.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So what's the over-under we hear back from athletics about this segment?
Women's hockey. Women's hockey. The women's team is 11-19-2, and unfortunately they dropped both games in the series to Penn State, but I think they're ranked number 4th, so I think that was a little unfair. However they are the number 4 team, and they kind of put a clinic on Lindenwood, but again, it's hard to say what necessarily a clinic would be there.
It could have been worse.
It could have been a lot worse. Because they fought very well over the weekend. This women's team fought very well against Penn State. I will say that. So, why don't you break down some of that fight over the weekend from this women's team?
Yeah, game 1, there was plenty of fight. Not in the first 11 minutes. You're down 4-1 after scoring the first goal of the game. Your goalie is pulled in the first period. And she's been really good. You look at her stats on the season coming into this series, she's one of the top goalies in the country. After this one, the stats not looking so hot. But I will say this. It's a 2-2 second period. They tied a period. Yeah. And they actually scored in it. It wasn't like they sat on their heels and just played defense. They fought back. Only 3 penalties in that game. This is a team that's been in the box a lot this year. Their special teams have left a lot to be desired. Only 3. Yeah, and Penn State did score. The penalty kill didn't exactly hold up. But, they weren't out there being dumb and reckless.
Yeah.
That shows a lot. From the beginning of the year, in the first series they played to this one, you've seen a lot of improvement and a lot of maturity out of this squad. The second game, the better team won. Penn State is the better team.
Yeah.
But I'll just take this away from the series this week. They were good from the faceoff dot. They took less penalties, and their young goalie got some reps. There's positives here. You weren't expected to beat Penn State. Really, nobody in this conference can beat Penn State. Maybe Mercyhurst, but outside of them, Penn State's just going to do this to you. So I'm really glad they stuck together. They gave them some fight. They weren't getting completely dominated. They won some categories. I think that's huge improvement. But this weekend is very, very, very important. And we're going to get to predictions, but I want to break down the playoffs here.
Go for it.
Lindenwood needs to get the 3rd seed if they want to host a home playoff game. And the teams in front of them right now, Syracuse and RIT. Syracuse is playing the 2nd seed Mercyhurst. They can lock out Lindenwood with a sweep. Only a sweep. They have to sweep if they want to lock out Lindenwood completely. RIT, they play Penn State. I don't think they're going to win any games, but if they do, if they win 2 of the games, or they get 1 win and an OT loss, that locks out Lindenwood of the 3rd seed. Now, Lindenwood needs the sweep. They really do.
Yeah.
If they win both games, I think there is a 98% chance that we get that 3rd seed and we're hosting it home in the playoffs. But there's that 2%.
Yeah.
And there's also the fact that we have to win the games. So let's talk about them.
Yeah. I'm going to be a little bit pessimistic this week, and it's a game 1 and 2 loss at Robert Morris. I think we get swept this week, unfortunately. They beat Lindenwood 2-0 the last series that we played them, matching records and play types. The closest we got was game 1 last time. It went to a shootout, but RMU unfortunately pulled ahead and won that one. And, ultimately, while it is unfortunate, and I normally like to be very optimistic about these Lindenwood teams, I think this women's ice hockey team goes into the postseason with a 4-loss streak.
Am I tripping? I thought we won the shootout.
It was an RMU win. Trust me, the way that they phrased it was really weird.
It was really weird on the schedule.
It was an RMU win. I had to look at it like 3 times to double check my own self. Yeah.
Now I feel stupid. Anyways, I'm going to be more optimistic than you are.
There you go.
So Robert Morris, they just got a big confidence boost. They had lost 6 games coming into their last series, but they played Delaware. Delaware is not a very good team this year. It was kind of a beatdown for the entire series. They're coming into this with more momentum.
Yeah.
Lindenwood's playing better hockey. I think Lindenwood's a better team. How are you going to respond? Your goalie just got pulled. She's been awesome, and she just got wrecked completely. And then she got a game to rest and think about it. So I don't know her personally. I don't know how mentally she's going to be ready for this series. And I think game 1's going to be the worst game for Lindenwood here. I'm thinking a loss in overtime. I'm going to be specific. I think this game's going to OT. These are 2 very evenly matched teams. Statistically, player-wise, and if they lose in overtime, they get points in the standings, which is extremely important.
Quick question for the stat books, primarily for my own stat books. If you lose but it's not an OT, do you still technically count that as a loss on your end?
No, if you get to overtime, you get points in the conference standings.
No. I'm talking in our own standings, like in our predictions and stuff. If they lose,
It's still a
but
loss.
it's not an OT, you technically lost that prediction?
No, I'm still saying a loss. I'm just being more specific for our viewers at home and what I think's going to happen.
We'll discuss that. Anyway, please continue with your
It's
predictions.
A loss is a loss is a loss. I
But
don't
you're
think
saying
we're
an
going to win.
OT. What if it doesn't go to OT?
I'm just predicting an L, and I'm telling the viewers that I think this is going to be so close that it will go to overtime or a shootout.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm thinking. Now, game 2, Lindenwood should probably win that one. I mean, the last time we played them, we went to that shootout, we lost. We had 7 penalties in that game. We're not doing that anymore. Lindenwood's cleaned it up. They have figured out how to stay out of the box. And Robert Morris has not. They are actually the most penalized team in AHA play this year. And they have the 2nd worst penalty kill. Yeah, Lindenwood's power play is not amazing, but I think that's what this is going to come down to, is who takes more penalties, who makes more mistakes.
Yeah.
And ultimately, in game 2, I'm taking Lindenwood.
And that's valid. That's valid. I'm glad you're going in with a more optimistic view than I am. I think one of us need to have a little bit more optimistic view on the ending of these seasons. However, we're going to get into our 5th sport, and that is men's volleyball. And they're 8-1, coming out of a very heavy-hitting weekend where they beat the number 7 and number 11 teams in the country. Only lost 1 set throughout the entire week, with that 1 set being to number 7 Loyola.
I'm doing a bit over here.
You are doing a bit.
I'm listening to you.
Big contributor for game 1 was Luke Kraft with 11 kills, 2 aces, 3 blocks, and 6 digs. Game 2 star was Brendan Luthane with 11 kills, 2 blocks, 1 assist, and 5 digs, and we will get into him later. However, Mr. Solomon actually earned the AVCA National Player of the Week, which made him the first Lindenwood Lion to do so. I mean, we did say it when we introduced him for the interview. However, I feel like it needs repeating because dude's setting history here at Lindenwood. So, well, I mean, the whole team is, especially on the stats and everything.
Yeah, they definitely are. What impressed me against Loyola was how they solved the block. Loyola is a very tall team. They're good on the net. Lindenwood, as the game went on, was able to kind of figure out how to get around it. Big shout out to Solomon in that because he's setting up his guys in a way to get around the block.
Yeah.
And I was really interested. I'm now more interested than ever to hear about his position because he compared himself to a quarterback and the read he has to make.
Yeah.
I just never understood it. That's interesting, and I want to look more into that. But the other thing they did so well in this game is Loyola has a great hitter. His name is Alexander Sosa. Really good. He actually still led the team in kills in this one. But in sets 2 and 3, you started to see Lindenwood change, especially in that 4th set as well, because they got in his head. They were blocking everything they threw at him. So he talked about being a film junkie and how this team is studying. They definitely nailed it in this one.
Oh, yeah.
They did not let that guy continue to own them. So, I mean, that's just a huge shout out to Kosif and the entire coaching staff and the team for buying into film, because that's not an adjustment we saw last year. If they're getting beat by something, they just continued to get beaten.
Yeah.
And then you look at this one, season high in digs. That's going to happen. It was an upset win. Loyola did not have a good day hitting the ball, also serving the ball. They were way below their season averages for aces, a lot of service errors. Lindenwood escaped. Lindenwood was not the better team. They're not the more talented team, but they won. They just did the little things right. So that's kind of my view on that one. It's an upset win. They are still the underdog. It's not just a mindset, they are. And then Lewis, going into that one, we both predicted a win.
We did.
Loyola, no. Lewis, yes. And that one, I mean, Lindenwood hit 565. Lewis hit 208.
1-1 on the weekend. Let's go.
Yeah. Season high of 14 aces in that one.
Yeah.
That game was insane. Actually insane. I mean, he mentioned it, the three straight aces, and they were all the short serves. That was such a fun moment to be in that arena where you guys should all be every game. Because you could tell the team was just building up, and it just felt like Lewis was getting overwhelmed. The game was too much for them, and then that happened, and it was like, all right, we're done. Pack it up. Lewis, get out of here. So you look at that, and you also look at Solomon in that one. He assisted on all but 3 of the kills for Lindenwood in that one. So every time we were scoring, all but 3 times he touched the ball. Like, dude, he's that guy.
He is that guy.
I know, like, every team has the one setter who goes crazy, but right now he's playing at a national level.
Mm-hmm. So we'll go ahead and get into our predictions for these next ones. I know Solomon kind of brought it up, and he said they are looking towards Purdue primarily, and that game is actually this Thursday at 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Central, because they're going to be playing in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Muncie, Indiana for Ball State. So it'll be 6 p.m. Central this Thursday. They're playing Purdue Fort Wayne. You could catch that on ESPN Plus, and 5 p.m. on Friday. They are playing number 9 Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. You could also watch that on ESPN Plus. I have a win at Purdue Fort Wayne. They are currently 6-2 and have lost to some of the same teams that Lindenwood has. And they kicked off in the same tournament that Lindenwood did, but lost to CSUN, while Lindenwood has not lost since their season opener. So in that tournament where they played Menlo and they played CSUN, Lindenwood didn't play Purdue, but Purdue lost to CSUN. So it's kind of that weird workaround where, you know, they lost to one, but we beat them. Technically, we've already beaten them. That's how I'm seeing it. I think we've got the win against Purdue Fort Wayne.
Can I do my Purdue Fort Wayne before we jump into Ball State?
Yeah, sure.
I'm agreeing with you. I think we're going to win. I have a concern and also a rebuttal to that concern.
Okay.
They're a great blocking team. They're one of the top blocking teams in the country right now. They get hands up on the net. They're good at reading the other team's attack. But we just saw Lindenwood able to get it done against Loyola and make adjustments against a much better team.
Yeah.
Also, we have 4 straight wins against this team historically, and last year we were not good. Solomon talked about it. This team was not at this level. So, yeah, they have some good things going for them, and he said they're a meaty opponent. I think the meatiest thing about them is their mascot.
Yeah.
They got an elephant on there, but they're not playing big time.
Which is weird because Alabama, the Crimson Tide has the same elephant.
Well, they're like a satellite campus, you know, Purdue, Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
So there's like a train, but an elephant. It's weird. I don't know how they came up with that. I don't know the lore. All I know is give me Lindenwood in that one.
Fair enough. And now we get to Ball State, the big, you know, the scary opponent. I'm predicting a close one, but it's a close one in the win column against Ball State. I think Lindenwood's actually going to pull this off.
Wow.
They're currently 10-1, and as of now have only played against one ranked opponent, and that's UCLA, where they lost that matchup. Now, kind of like...
Wait, hang on. Can I correct you? Because there's something actually wrong. Their website blows. They've actually played several ranked opponents, but you wouldn't know it because they don't list the rankings on their schedule.
Oh, no, I looked up the rankings and everything, and I was comparing them. I didn't see any
They
other
played
ranked.
Stanford while they were ranked.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a few other teams in there. I can't forget their name. I think it's NGIT. Played them as well. They're ranked currently. Not sure if they were at the time.
They weren't at the time.
Their website sucks. It's really poorly designed. For a sport that has so many ranked teams in it, you'd think they'd put that on there.
Yeah. So, as of checking, they only played one ranked opponent. They only played one, and that was UCLA. I double checked. Anyway.
No, I'm done. You
They're
go on.
ranked
I'm gonna.
ninth, and they play number 12 McKendree on Thursday, so that is going to change. However, I have a strong feeling that ultimately this Lindenwood team can pull off the upset, and especially after talking to Zach Solomon tonight, I definitely feel like Lindenwood has that culture where they could, they could beat them.
Bro, this website is useless on mobile. I am spamming here. We have a camera now. Schedule. Oh, now it works. Oh, okay. I've been
So
doing
your
it.
Ball State prediction?
Well, here, first of all, I want to go through this. Okay, they played NGIT, they played UCLA, they played Stanford, who was ranked. I'm beefing with you on this. They were ranked. I swear to God.
I went through predictions on Ball State.
I don't want to be that guy, but I just don't think this team is ready for Ball State.
That's fair.
Like, they play very similar volleyball, but they do it better. You think Lindenwood's aggressive at serving? They're better. You think our top guys are good? They're better. You think Zach Solomon's good? He is. They got a guy on their team who's doing even better. Like, yeah. This team is stacked. Ball State is one of the best teams in the country for a reason. Lindenwood has to prove it here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we have the horses to do it. We might have all the film in the world and all the coaching in the world, but they got the guys. And we have some really good guys too, but I think they have a better team over there. I think we lose in 4 sets. I hate saying it. I genuinely hate being negative because we had such a fun conversation.
So you think we're going to get one at least?
We'll win one. I don't think we get swept. We are a very good team. We are an actual contender this year. I don't think this beginning of the season's a fluke, but it's Ball State. And historically have not fared well against them. We're in their building with that atmosphere that Zach Solomon mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me Ball State.
Fair enough. Alrighty. And now we get into the new bit, and that is where we are actually going to recap softball and lacrosse. We're not going to do predictions for those just yet. Their seasons did start, and softball's, they've got like 4 tournaments back to back to back, so it's going to be a little weird predicting those.
And we're going to speed run this because we're at an hour and 42 minutes. Yeah, we got to get going on this. Oh my.
So anyway, Lindenwood softball started their season off with a 3-1 record, opened the season with Alabama State University's tournament. The only loss came against the home team, with the score during the loss being 5-6, so it barely lost. It was a very close game. The next 2 games would end in an 11-2 scoreline, as well as a 7-1 score. So you kind of see where the dominance comes in with this team. They immediately earned OVC honors over the weekend amongst the team as the season started. And they have the OVC Player of the Week in Tori Hatton and OVC Pitcher of the Week in Avery Wapp.
Yeah, Avery Wapp's really good.
Yeah.
So was basically everyone that pitched. Lindenwood's concerns coming into this year were, could they score runs? Apparently they can. And then the depth of the pitching, which is still yet to be seen. You still have some stinkers out there that are just like young and trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. Like, anytime you're young and you go to the Division I level in baseball or softball, if you're a pitcher, get ready to have an 8 ERA.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. But you saw 3 starting pitchers get used in this one. Lucy Pratt, one of them, last year, she had an 8 ERA. If she was coming into the game, it was either a blowout or we were getting destroyed. That was basically her use for the team, was to eat innings. She held her own. She actually looked really good in this one. I liked her stuff. So I'm hoping we get to see that continue on. The entire lineup has a plus 300 batting average. The entire team. Nobody's stinking up the joint.
That's really
good. And then 8 of 10 on stolen bases. I mean, no one could stop us.
We have a real good softball team.
We do. Now, the game we lost, that was unfortunate. We had a nice lead. We scored all 5 runs in 1 inning and then didn't score again.
Just ended up losing it. But,
It's, when you have back-to-backs like that, you have to use all your pitchers.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to put in the person that you don't have any faith in. And in this case, kind of sold a little late in the game.
Yeah.
It happens. That's the nature of these tournaments.
Yeah. So, we're not going to do predictions, but I will tell you that the next set of games are going to be the Samford University tournament. It doesn't look like you're going to be able to watch them anywhere, but 2 games on Friday, one at 12:30 p.m. and one at 3 p.m. And then Saturday, they have 2 games again, one at 10 a.m., one at 3 p.m. And then their last game is on Sunday at 10 a.m., and they are all in Birmingham, Alabama. So if you want to take the drive, go ahead and drive to Alabama for the weekend. But that's when they play if you're able to watch it
I think
somewhere.
because there was a broadcast last week.
Yeah.
And it was a sorry broadcast, by the way.
It might just be a local college ran broadcast because it's not ESPN+.
They had a camera behind home plate, and early in Lindenwood's game, and I forget which one it was, but we were in like the second inning, and they still had the wrong logos on the scorebook.
I'll say this.
Right now we're dealing with some broadcasts that are,
Go to Samford University website. They might have a stream up for you that you can watch and support those Lindenwood Lions.
I
Now,
hope they do. Or a mom that does like a Facebook stream
exactly.
up. Go look for that too.
Something. Lacrosse. Unfortunately, they started their season going 0-1 against Kent State University. It was a loss, but it was an overtime loss with an 11-12 score. So they kind of showed that grit that they needed to just to kick off the year, just to, show, hey, we might have lost, but we're not going to, get steamrolled in the loss. We're at least going to make it competitive. They had 7 different scores, with the main one being Alyssa De Giacinto. I might have butchered that, and I apologize. But they had 3 goals to help out the Lions, so that's pretty good. And again, 7 different scorers amongst 11 goals. It's crazy.
Great, but also no broadcast for this game either. So we're going strictly off of what we know from the box score and the recap. This is a team that Lindenwood's kind of owned historically, and they were owning them. They were up 11-6 going into the fourth quarter. And as we know, the game did not finish 11-6.
No.
I feel like this is just the beginning of the season. You're playing a game against a team that you've owned historically. You feel good about yourself. You're up big, and they just let it go. That or conditioning. It's the first game of the year. It's kind of hard to play the entire game with full intensity when you haven't played for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case. Either way, it's a bit of a letdown just to know that, we had this one. We could have started off 1-0 very easily. And that fourth quarter was just something you got to forget about and move forward.
And unfortunately, this game was on 2 p.m. on last Friday. That weather. This is a spring sport, and they were playing in winter weather. It was not a great all-around atmosphere. However, the next game is going to be Wednesday, 3 p.m. Central. That one's going to be played in Michigan, though, with no stream that we can see. Maybe again go to Eastern Michigan site to see if they have a live stream going up, but unfortunately softball and lacrosse are not getting the love that they deserve.
It's still basketball season. All these athletic departments are too busy getting those done.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot.
However, let's go into the 3 stars of the week, why don't we?
It's time for the 3 stars of the week.
All right, 3 stars of the week. Now, if you guys want to vote on these, you got to go to the Instagram. You got to go look up James Zugmeyer on Instagram or go look up Jetkin4. We'll be there. We're also going to be linked in the description of the YouTube stream. So, our 3rd star of the week is not someone I thought we'd see on this list this year.
No.
She's usually pretty good. She's more of a role player for your women's basketball team. But ladies and gentlemen, Maya Scoff led the team with 32 points this week. Just a week where the team needed someone else to step up a little bit. Not someone they've had to rely on all season long, but she got it done this week. So huge props to Maya Scoff. She is your 3rd star of the week.
Oh, yeah. And now, the 2nd star, Mr. Brendan Luthane. I did mention him in the show, and I said we'd get right back to him later, and here is later. Brendan Luthane, 29 kills on a .375 hit percentage, and he led the team against number 7 Loyola and number 11 Lewis. So he is your 2nd star of the week. So James, why don't you reveal the 1st star?
Well, we had the votes going on, and it was really tight. for
Very.
about 2 seconds. Because there's a certain player on the softball team that really pulled away. So without further ado, let's get that drum rolling here. Your first star of the week is Emily Geary. Yes, the sister of Mr. Will Geary that we had in here last week. She hit .429 with 2 home runs in 4 games last weekend and leads the team with a 1,300 OPS. Yeah, she went nuclear. And mind you, last season, she hit under 100. She hit 80 on the year.
Oh, yeah.
So to see a player go from that to this, I'm excited. And I know the whole team's excited.
And as far as saying the votes were, like, tight, it was literally 38 to 37% on the voting. Like, one right after another. So,
Well, okay, I should preface this. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
'Cause I was saying for about 2 seconds. It was not close for most of the week. But then Justin came into the studio today and placed his vote. And I was like, oh no, we're going to have a tie.
yeah.
1 by 1% of the vote. So thank you guys all for voting. Because
Yeah.
if nobody votes and we get like 4 votes, we might have a tie. And then I don't know what to do at that point.
And then tied for a star. Anyway, team of the week, though, that one was not even close.
No, that one was quite obvious on who the team of the week was. But I'll still give them a drum roll just because, I feel like it. Ladies and gentlemen, your team of the week is men's volleyball with an astonishing 71% of the vote. Dude, you beat 2 ranked teams in a week. Anytime you beat number 7 and number 11 in a week, I think you got to be the best team on campus.
That
by
and
far.
you jump up from 18 to 13 in the national rankings and get one of your players recognized on the national stage. Overall, I don't think there was really any argument on this one that men's volleyball was going to kind of take it, but congratulations to men's volleyball. Y'all definitely deserved it after the weekend you guys just had.
Also, if you want a good laugh at yourself, go look at the poll. I'm not going to say anything else. Just go look at it. And if you have a child brain like me, you'll find it amusing. Anyways, thank you guys all so much for tuning into the Lions Den. Hopefully, we get some clips up on social media this week. We're trying to really up our game every time we go. But if there is someone you really want to see on the show, you got to leave a comment. I don't think we've ever gotten an actual comment on our posts. People
No,
like
we've
it.
gotten one.
Well, I know who that person is.
Oh, no, this was somebody else. They were voting for somebody else on a player of the week.
When was this?
Just last week.
Really?
We'll look at it after the show.
Because there's somebody else that comments all the time, and I know who they are. They just post like emojis and like spam just to like boost it.
No, I know who they are. I know who that is.
But yeah, like, guys, no one ever comments on our stuff. We want to hear from you guys. If there's a
Yeah.
certain athlete you feel like deserves respect, or someone from one of the student life sports that you feel isn't being, put in the spotlight, because those teams really don't get anything.
Yeah.
Please let us know at James Ugmeyer, at Jetkin4, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Lions Den. We're on air every Tuesday at 6 p.m. right here on the Tower, and all recordings are on the Roar Network YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your evening, and go Lions!